All right, welcome everyone. We are live. We are live, and I haven't done one of these in a long time. Can't wait to go live with you as well.
All right,
On
welcome everyone.
all the
We
different
are live.
platforms. We are live, and I haven't done one of these in a long time. Can't wait to go live with you as well.
All
On
right, welcome everyone.
all the different platforms. Okay, I'm gonna give you a chance to all join. Let's do this. Welcome everyone. All right. Hello, Brian. Brian, how are you doing? Brian, where are you in the world? So, I'm going to do a session coming up this week that I think everybody should know about because I have Seats.io coming on Thursday. Then on Wednesday, the day before, I'm doing a free session, a live session, and I'm doing one tonight. Today's Monday. So, Monday, we're going to talk about getting started in points and miles, and I'm going to skip over the tough stuff. We're going to try to get to all the basic stuff that everybody needs to know before they can do points and miles. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions up there. So I want to help clear that up. Let's see who else is joining in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's start off with this. Let's start off with my story. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ben with Ben's Big Deals. I have been involved in points and miles now for a better part of a decade. It's probably been about 10 years, maybe 11 now at this point. We're in 2025, 11 years now where I have been an elite with an airline. I don't fly as much as some people who are watching this stuff, but I will say I flew enough. Domestically, I've probably flown hundreds of thousands of miles domestically and internationally, probably equally in terms of mileage. But one of the things I think I do well, and I want to help you, is that I want to try to break down what I think is probably one of the most complex things and scares a lot of people from traveling. I mean, let's just talk about this. Even if you're paying cash, traveling is tough as it is just paying cash, let alone when we start talking about points and miles and currencies and airlines and transfer partners. So it can be quite overwhelming, I think, for a lot of people when we get started. So I said in my last reel, that the first thing that we need to do, okay, is number one, I think you need to make your first redemption. If you don't make your first redemption, none of the stuff we talk about is real. Before we even get into like, oh, you need to have this credit and that credit. And by the way, you do need to have that. You need to have good credit. Okay. You need to have an open mind. You got to ask questions. You got to learn. You got to come to find a source and find a coach who's going to take the time to teach you. Because for the majority of us, when we got started, we had to kind of learn our own. It's like a puzzle, and they put in a box and you shake it all up, and then you're trying to put the pieces back together, and you don't know if it needs to be glued, and you got this part and that part, but you don't know how it all works together. So I think that's something that can be challenging. Do I have a beginner's guide? I feel like there's lots of guides out there, and I'm more than happy to put together. It's a great question, Brian. I have a beginner's class, but I will work on a guide. Someone with good credit and want to get into points and miles game. I think that's a good place to start. Let's start off what I would do if I would put a guide together right now. Why don't we talk about that? If I were to put a guide together right now, I think the first thing, there's a few tenets. There's one is credit. And why is credit important? Because credit is going to allow you to get a credit card, and the credit card is going to allow you to get a welcome bonus. That's actually how a lot of people earn points. The mistake a lot of people make early on is that they're looking for a card that's going to give them perks. And I said, well, you're going to get perks, but you're not going to earn points for free trips. You're not going to earn points for your next trip. You're not going to have points that's going to easily, like, let me give you an example. If you are on a credit card right now, if you have a credit card right now, you may be getting one, maybe two. You could even maybe get 3 or 4 or 5x. But if you get a new welcome bonus, okay, a new welcome bonus early on for some of us, a new welcome bonus for some of us, that could be equal to 10x, 12x, 15x in the very first 3 months, in the first 90 days. Maybe you spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, and you put, instead of putting on your debit card, instead of putting on your checking account, start paying your rent with the card. Start paying your food with it, groceries, your maintenance, your utilities, your taxes, all those things you put on the card, and you pay it off like you normally do. You normally do. And if you can't do that, if you can't put it on and pay it off, then this is probably not it for you yet. Okay. But whatever you can pay and pay it off right away, put it on there. If you were going to pay cash, put it on the card first. Use the card as a method of payment, not as a financing tool. Don't put on the credit card because you can't afford it. Put on the credit card because you can afford it, but you want to earn points. Okay. That'll be the first idea. First idea. The reason why we do that. And no, applying for a credit card is not going to ruin your credit long term. It may take a slight dip for 1, 2, 3 months, but when it comes back again, because you're making your payments on time, and that's important, you're going to find that your credit's actually improved because now you have a new line of credit. You're showing in 3 months now that you are responsible and you're able to pay. All those things are going to be really, really good. Okay. So that's going to help you a lot. All right. Danny, good seeing you. All right. So I want to share a quick story about myself. Okay. By the way, I have a class coming up on, not the hotel class, but the airline class coming up very, very soon. And that's going to be about the airlines, the credit cards, the brands, the alliances, and things like that. A little quick story about myself. When I got started in Points and Miles, one of the things that I made a mistake was that I was looking only for the least expensive hotel. I was only looking for the least expensive airfare. Now, let me just caveat that. I think we're always told to look for that. And I'm not saying not to look for that, but let me give you an example. Do you want the cheapest hotel room out there? Maybe it's a hostel. Maybe there's bed bugs and you're going to go, okay, well, maybe not the cheapest, but I'm looking for the most acceptable. And then later on, you're kind of going, well, I don't really want to stay at a hostel. I don't want to stay at 2-star, 3-star hotels. I want to go on vacation because I don't have that much vacation time. Maybe I only have 2 weeks a year or 3 weeks a year, and I want to make the most out of it. Can I do something nice? Something that's maybe even better than when I'm at home. If that's the case, then you are a perfect candidate to learn about Points and Miles, because Points and Miles can be able to be used for a budget stay, but it's even better when you can be able to use them for a luxury stay. So if you're looking at 4-star and 5-star hotels, that's one of the best ways to use the points. Okay. So you can use the points any way you want, but I'm going to recommend that's a good way. When is the airline class? My airline class is going to be on March 10 to March 14. March 10 to March 14. Okay. So it's going to be, I'll put it, and if you go to bensbigdeal.com, you can be able to go take a look. Ben's Big Deal. Go to bensbigdeal.com and go and look at my classes, and you will find my next class, which will be March 10 to March 14. Okay, so you can be able to do that. bensbigdeal.com. Okay, so let's just kind of go from there. All right, miles and points. Anyone here? Quick quiz. Which airline is the first? What airline is the first airline program that has a loyalty program? Let me see. Anyone here can guess? I know some of you know. What is the first airline loyalty program out there? Someone tell me. Airline program. And it's a US one. I'll give you a hint. It's a US one. I'll give you a chance. Put in the chat. What is the first airline program? Brian is close. Brian's close. Yes, it is AA. Very, very good. It's very, very good. Are there airline rates for seniors? There is not necessarily an airline rate. They do have hotel rates for seniors, but I don't think they necessarily have an airline rate for seniors. But here's a good thing. If you are a senior, you can be able to get discounts in other ways, like points and miles. I think that a lot of seniors actually do points and miles because they have the opportunity to learn about this hobby, and they're able to stretch out their retirement income for longer when they do this. Yes, it is American Airlines back in 1981, not Pan Am. They didn't have one. If they did, maybe Pan Am would still be in business. Ultimately, American Airlines, the first program with with the airline program, and the reason they call it miles is because American Airlines would give you 1 mile for every mile flown. So 1 mile for every mile flown. That's how we called it end up miles. When we got to hotels, obviously couldn't call it miles, so they called it points. And with credit cards, we call them points as well. Okay, so here's the next step. Okay, well, thank you for everyone's participation in that question. Now, here's the thing. How soon can you book a flight with points? When's the best time? Well, I get that question a lot. The first time you want to book is maybe as far. If you can plan out far, if you're a planner and you have a fixed schedule, start booking your Thailand trip with me now. So if you're going in January, if you're going in February of next year, of 2026, come with me to Thailand. This is the time to go ahead and book it. Plan it out. Just book it. And here's the thing. If you book it out right now and things change, you can always cancel it. Many times airlines, when you're booking out, here's a little tip. If you book out a year in advance and they change the time, they may be able to qualify you, because usually happens. They'll do a schedule change because they don't know what's going on. And then they're going to give you a discount. I'm sorry, they're going to let you cancel your ticket or change your ticket for free to another flight that's acceptable for you. So go ahead and book that ticket if you can, because that's one of the best times to book a ticket. If not, the second best time is usually where we're within 2 weeks or 10 days of departure. You can check every day around that point and see if there are good deals, because people who booked it a year ago, they cancel. Now they have those flights available. And then somewhere in the middle there, around the 3 months, 6 months, 8 months out, the airlines figure out they're not going to sell all tickets, and they open all this availability. Then they sell all these points tickets, and that's why you hear sometimes online they're like, "There's all this availability, jump on it now," and then it'll close because they fulfilled their quota. So you got to keep up with those kind of things. Okay, so another rule I would say is important is if you've been accumulating points and miles now for 10 years and you haven't made a redemption yet, it is not a savings account. They don't appreciate in value. They will eventually be worth less, because as they print out more miles for people, like they give bigger sign-up bonuses every year. Like, let me give you an example. It used to be like 50,000 was a really good, 50,000 was a really good sign-up bonus. And now then it moved up to 60 to 70 to 100. Nowadays, we see sometimes some programs over 100,000 for a point, depending on what kind of point program. But we see these huge welcome bonuses. It's not the only way to earn points, but when you're starting, that's one of the ways. And because there's more points out there, there's just more inflation. So you got to be aware of that, okay? All right. Okay, so here's the first thing. Should plan, earn, burn, travel, then repeat that. Okay, now here's the thing. I think a lot of people start at 2 and they don't do 1. Meaning that you first decide, I'm going to go sign up for a card. And then you come to me because you accumulate all these points and you're going, how do I redeem them? You want to burn them, right? You want to redeem them. But you're trying to figure out the points that you have, how do they fit into their trip? Like, I want to go somewhere and here are the points I have, Ben. Help me. So you have 2, you've done 2, you didn't do 1, you skipped 1 right to 2. And then you come to me and you say, or anyone else, or you try to go figure it out and trying to read the blogs, and you're trying to figure out, how do I redeem these points and who are the transfer partners? I'm going to stop you right there. You folks need to do 1 first, then go get a card. Okay, so if this is your very first redemption, I'm not talking about people who are pros, but if this is your very first redemption, you need to figure out, where do you want to go? Even have it's domestic. It doesn't have to be, I got to go to Japan or Sydney, Australia, or London, although that's nice. But just think about something simple. I need to get Hawaii. I need to get to Denver. I need to get to Alaska. I want to go to Miami. Oh, I want to go to Mexico City. If that's your destination, figure out, okay, who goes there? Go through the process of it and then figure out, I need to have Alaska miles. I need to have American miles. I need to have Flying Blue miles, whatever that is. You need to figure that out first. And once you go, well, which credit card has points that can transfer to these programs? And there's actually a few that actually can have, so usually it'll be a bank program. It could be Amex, it'll be the bank that we can't talk about, but come see me later. Those points program, now you understand why you're collecting those points. And now you're going collecting points for a destination that you have in mind, rather than you doing 2, then 3. So I want you to do number 1, figure out where you want to go first, where if you had the decision, and then that way it becomes real. And now you have strategically booked a flight. Now, some of the pros, you know what they do? They get a point from every bank, Amex, Capital One, the one we can't pronounce, Wells Fargo. They get that Bill Pro, they get them all. And then now they know which one. It's like a chess game. Like one's a king, one's a queen, one's a pawn, one's a rook. Like they know how to use them. But we're not there yet. The first step is everybody go get the point that you need for the destination you're going to go. Then we're going to earn them. Now we know how to burn them. So once we do that homework up front, now we're earning the right points. Because I've had people come and get the wrong points program, meaning that they wanted to go to the Greedy Palace and use Marriott points because they knew that Amex can transfer Marriott. But that's a terrible redemption. It didn't have any Marriott points, didn't have a Marriott card, didn't have Marriott stat, nothing. But all they knew is they can transfer it. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Okay. I don't know how deep we're going to go into this, unless you guys have questions. But let's just talk about this. Co-branded card versus credit card points. Co-branded card versus co-branded. Okay. If you get a co-branded card and you get points in a particular program, like you get United Miles or if you got Delta Miles, just be aware of this. You're not going to always have all the flights available. Biggest mistake new people make is they think that if they sell on cash, you can get it for points. Okay, well, it doesn't really work like that. The points tickets have to be bought by the program, by the airline program, by the loyalty program from the airline. So think of the airline and the loyalty program as 2 separate entities. Okay, so if you have United Miles, they have to buy it from United, or United, the airline, has to give them space because they would rather get cash, or they need cash because they need to pay fuel. Okay, they need cash. So the loyalty program will actually convert it, maybe at a wholesale rate, but they have to still convert those points into cash, that in the bottom line, or they'll sell the cash ticket to the average public. So they're not going to have every seat that is available for cash available for points. So that's important to know. So if you get a co-branded mile, they're basically blackouts. Or it's like, let's say there's 10 flights available. Maybe you get 2 or 3. Or the 2 or 3 they'll give you require stopovers and things like that. Now, the stopover is not so bad if it's in business class. But on economy, you may not want to sleep over overnight. You may not want to have an 8, 9, 10-hour layover. Those things happen when you have a airline mile. So when we usually recommend that you get a credit card point is because we want you to make sure that you have as many options as possible. Because if United doesn't have availability, then we want to look at Air Canada. If Air Canada doesn't have availability, we're going to look at Air France. If we look at Air France, Flying Blue. If they don't have it, then we're going to look at Life Miles. If Life Miles doesn't have it, we're going to look at Turkish. Turkish doesn't have. So we're going to be able, when you have a credit card point, there's like 15 airlines we can check with, we can book with. So usually credit card points give us more flexibility. And then we can move it to an airline mile. So whereas this is just one airline program, this may be 15 airline programs. So we usually recommend that. Anyone question on that? Okay. And there may be a preset mileage chart. There may not be. It could be a dynamic versus credit card points. You can be able to also book whatever the current cash cost is. So one of the advantages of the mileage programs, they may have a set rate for a partner versus on the credit card portal, you're going to pay whatever the cash rate is. Now, if the cash rate is low, then maybe the credit card portal makes more sense. But if the cash rate is high, then we're going to look at using it toward the airline mile, okay? So I think there's more value in the airline miles, but the credit card points give you more flexibility. So in the end, you want to have both, but at the beginning, you probably want to have more flexibility as you're learning. You want to look at the credit card points early on, okay? So that's kind of my explanation of why earn credit card points rather than mileage. Okay, so here's another way to look at it. Would you rather have one airline program, or if on the right here you have 15 airline programs to choose from? Okay, when you're looking to fly. I'm not going to go too much into this, but I will just say this. There's points programs like you have a bank. If you earn the bank programs that we just talked about on the right side, they're at the top of the pyramid. These are most valuable, and you can transfer them to an airline and transfer them down to a hotel. But once you transfer them down the pyramid, you can't go back up. It only goes one direction. It goes from the top to the bottom. And once it goes to the bottom, you can't move it back again. So if you move it to United Airlines and United, you decide to cancel it, well, those miles are going to stay with United. They don't go back to the top bank. Okay. I'm not going to skip all that because I can't talk about it, but good for you guys to know. Okay, let's talk about this, for example. Air Canada versus, booking through United. You may be able to find the same flight, but at different prices and different rates. So these programs are all programs that can sold, but with different programs, okay? Wow, we got a ton here. Let me see what else. Okay, well, here, I'm just going to skip to some. If you guys want to come to the full session, come on Wednesday. Send me a DM or check my story. If you guys check my story, you'll see. Comment, or I just put in the comment here. Just comment webinar class or airline webinar, and I'll send you guys invite, or go to my story. You can check out my invite. Okay. So here you go. This is one of the best deals out there. Bangkok to Tokyo. This is for 2 people, not one, but 2 people. It is 20,000 miles round trip on American miles on Japan Airlines for just 20,000 points and $20. Okay. 20,000 points, $20. And if you can find first class, that is 80,000 all the way back to the US. Okay. If you're flying on cash, make sure you add your freaking flyer account and your earn miles. Like every transaction you make is either going to be a points earning opportunity or points redemption. When you're flying on cash, that's a points earning opportunity. Sometimes points earning is better than redeeming miles, because if the points is really high, but the cash is very low, then book with cash and then earn points on those situations. So it's not always like I always have to redeem my points. If you don't think that it's a good redemption because it's asking for a lot, you got a better deal, then, and you found a really good cash rate, then book cash and then earn points there. And that also helps you earn elite status, which gives you other perks down the line. Okay. All right. Questions? Anyone have questions? I'm going to talk more about this later, but let me see here. I think we got a couple people who want to come to my session. So let me take a look here. Hey, welcome. All right, airline rates for seniors. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to make sure I send some messages over. T2. Questions, anyone? Let me see. No questions. I think I'm only going to do 30 minutes today. Not doing a ton. But I'm more than happy to help you guys. Let's see here. I'm going to send out some T2. Image. Do you have any questions, everyone? Elegancia. Oh, by the way, so this week, let me just tell you what we have coming up. So this week we have new class on Wednesday. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 1 hour. I'm not recording it. It's just going to be like this. It's going to disappear too. If you guys join, you don't join. And then on Thursday, we have C-Star.io coming. If you come to Wednesday, I will send you an invite for Thursday. Okay? How about that? Elegance. Issue. Sign up for class tomorrow. I thought it was your class. Are you talking about AA? If you come to AA class, you sign up for class for AA. That is actually run. Well, it's actually I'm teaching. I'm the guest speaker. I'm teaching, but it's actually the group of. It's actually Julia's group. So Julia's group is who you signed up for. That's who you paid. I'm going to run one for my group in August, in April, but I am going there to go help her and teach her group. So I invite you guys for tomorrow. So if you're coming for tomorrow, you signed up, that's her group, but it's all good. And my group is on this coming Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday will be a free class. Thursday, you'll be invited if you come on Wednesday. That's my special for you guys. All right. Let's see here. Do we have any other questions? Okay. All right, folks, I just signed up. Well, doesn't matter. If you're coming, I will be teaching the class, by the way, tomorrow. So if you signed up, you signed up. Don't worry. I'm reluctant to move points. Christine says, I'm reluctant to move points to Air Canada to get a flight to Japan. We are a family of 4. Do I need to be set up as a family to share the points on the Air Canada website? Christine, if you found the tickets already, then go ahead and move them, because once you move them to Airplane, they're going to stuck there. They can't be moved once you move them to Air Canada. Okay, I'm assuming you have like Amex points or you have Blue Bank points. You want to move it there. It's fine. But I would not move. Now, the least expensive that you're going to find is $87,500. You're not going to get lower than that. So at the very minimum, you're going to have to probably, transfer like 330,000, 340,000 points, something like that, 87,500 points. I wouldn't move them until I found the seats. It'll happen automatically. I mean, it'll happen quickly. So if you found it, then move them. But if you're just going to move them there and hope and pray that Air Canada, don't do that. Because what happens if it doesn't? What happens if you find them in Singapore? Well, you can't move them to Singapore because when you're moving it to the airline program. You're not moving it to the airline you're flying. You're moving it to the airline program. And Air Canada needs to have space from a partner. So unless they have it, you don't. Okay. And I don't know if you've done it before, Christine. You may want to come take my airline masterclass. So, we can get more in detail. So that's something to consider. Okay. But I wouldn't move them until you found the space. And I would use tools like Point.me, Roam Travel, Points or Seats.aero that's coming to join me on my session. And if you'd like to, and if you're more than a beginner and you're kind of intermediate on the way there, maybe you want to join my mentorship and we meet up weekly. Okay. You can also do that as well. Send me a note if you're interested. We have brand new class every single Thursday. We have great people like Seats.aero. I'll do a high master class coming up, and you can pay per class, or if you just want to do the monthly is better because you'll get everything. Okay. You're set up for my class on the 19th. The 19th is for the free class, right? Yeah, that's on Wednesday. Okay. Is that your first time, Christine? Did you just sign up? Christine Didas, right? That's you. All right. Good seeing you. Any other questions, folks? Any questions? Okay, looks like you're here in LA. Welcome. How much is a weekly class? It depends on the class, but typically it'll be anywhere between $39 and $50. But if you do the monthly, it's $97, and you get access to all the 4 classes. You also get Sunday Q&A. So that's all there. Christine, did you do the points class with me recently? Christine Linkard. Christine, which points class did you do with me? Oh, now I'm curious now. Christine, now I'm like, that name. Slinkard, there we go. Is it Slinkard? Which class? Oh, you did the free preview class. Oh, okay. You didn't take my master class yet. Okay. Is this a live class or a video? Every class is live with me. Every class is live. I'm the only one that does live classes, by the way, all the time. All the time. Michi, I only do live classes. Do I record them? Yes, but not this one coming on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm not recording it. So, but the Seats Out Era, it'll be recorded. It is a live class, Michi. Yes. Okay, Christine, I see you now. You're in Kansas. Yes. Okay, I remember now. You're coming from Kansas. I have a student who's in Kansas. Thank you, Kibria. Appreciate it. You'll love it. You guys will love it. I encourage you to take my full master class. That way you guys get it all. There's only, I mean, my class, my master class, when I teach it, it's 4 days. Why? Because there's a lot to cover. But you know what? Once you're done, I cover everything. I save you a lot of time because now you don't have to read hundreds of hours and watch hundreds of hours. I'm just going to explain it to you so that you folks understand. Thank you, Kibria. Much appreciated. All right. So do we have any other questions? I give you guys. Okay, so the week after that, I'm going to run a Hyatt masterclass. So it is strictly Hyatt. Normally, my hotel masterclass, I run Hyatt, Hilton, IHG, Marriott, all the programs. But this coming month, I'm going to do a 2-session for my mentorship. If you're part of the mentorship, it's free. If not, it's $197 for 2 classes, and it comes with a recording. So, like I said at the beginning, it's better if you do the full month. And then there's also a school group that you become a part of. And then there's that. And then we have a IG chat group. So I got a lot of support. There's like 3 things you get when you join my weekly mentorship. Anyone have questions? All right. If no questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Thank you. You guys are the best. We will see you on tomorrow. For anyone who's joining with me tomorrow for AA class, that'd be great. I see you guys on tomorrow with Julia. If not, I will see you on Wednesday for our free class, and then Thursday. So we got like 3 days of classes coming up. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.